Good evening. I hope that you've had a very blessed Wednesday as we meet together in the pastor study tonight. In Psalm 19, verse 1, David writes this: "The heavens declare the glory of God. The skies proclaim the work of his hands." Have you ever wondered whether God could handle something for you? Perhaps you were entering a difficult period in your life and you knew you weren't going to make it without his help, or maybe it was a financial issue or a health issue or just something that was heavy on your heart and you knew that you needed to give it to God, but you just weren't sure that he could handle it or that he would handle it for you. I wonder sometimes, do we ever stop to think about how big, how powerful, how capable God really is? And that's not necessarily a lack of faith, I don't think, but rather it's a consideration of just who this God that we serve really is. And I think that's something that's important for us to know and to understand. King David, the psalmist, stated that all we really need to do to gain an understanding and a knowledge of who God is to simply look up. Go outside during the dark, in the dark of the night, and look up. And look at the heavens. Think about it. We worry about whether or not God can handle our small issues, although they really probably don't seem very small to us at the time. Yet the skies proclaim the work of God's hands. I wonder whether we ever really stop to think about what that means to us. Think about it. The sun, this bright orb that gives us light and heat, every square yard of the sun constantly emits about 130,000 horsepower, or the equivalent of 450 8-cylinder V8 engines. That's a lot. And as powerful as that is, it's but one minor star in the 100 billion or so stars which make up our Milky Way galaxy. And that galaxy is but one among many. In fact, since the Hubble telescope became available, was invented and built, and man started looking further out into the heavens, the scientists estimate that perhaps there are 100 billion galaxies in our universe. And who knows, the next iteration of that Hubble telescope may show us even more than we've even dreamed is out there. If you take a dime, just a simple, thin, small dime, and you go out at some night and you hold it up at arm's length, you've just blocked out 15 million stars. That's God's handiwork. That's what he's done. That is his creative power at work. You see, by showing us the heavens, God shows us something that's very, very important. He's showing us how big he really is. In Romans chapter 1, verse 19, the Apostle Paul writes that God is trying to make it plain to all of humanity just who he is, the powerful creator. And here's why that's important to us. Because once we understand his power, we really do begin to understand that he can't handle anything that we need help with. And that's faith building. And we're called to walk by faith. That's our calling. And God just made it easier by saying, step outside in the middle of the night and look up. Look at what I've already done. Now ask yourself, is what I have too big for God? And I think the answer very quickly becomes, no, it isn't. I hope that helps you the next time you go outside and look up, to think about how big this God that we serve, who loves us with an everlasting love, how big he really is. And that's the thought for tonight on the Pastor Study.